When it comes to land backing, strategic thinking and proactive actions are very, very important. You can buy a land for 2 million naira and sell it for 500,000 naira. You are definitely going to lose. You can buy a land and not have a return on investment without taking the rightful decision. Come with me. Let's discuss the 10 major things you have to look at before buying any land. Number 1 on my table is government project. Before buying any land, it's important to look at, is there any government project in this vicinity I am buying? Is government having any plan? What is government plan in this environment? A good example of government project is having a good accessible road. Is government planning to do any road here, or has any road been done here before that will enhance government to come and do it again? A good example also is an international airport. Is there international airports here that will bring about foreign investors to come over here? Because if you are going to have a foreign investor in any city or in any environment, that place will have a good proximity to an international airport. Another thing you have to look at over investment is there security in such environment? I'll give you a good example. There are some areas in Nigeria. A good example is Maiduguri, Borno, Maiduguri. We observed that Maiduguri was developing very fast at the time before Boko Haram came on board. When Boko Haram came on board, there was war, there was a lot of insecurity in the environment, and people started moving their companies, their family away from Borno over to another city. And we discovered that the value of the land over there went down. The return on investment of people were not given. We discovered that companies folded up, population reduced. And when population reduces an environment, that environment will not have a good value when it comes to land banking. So it's important to observe that there is a security on your land or in the environment of the land you are buying. What is the proximity of your land to a police station, to an army barrack? Very, very important. If there is any insurgents, how many minutes will it take a policeman or a police custody to come over to come and save you and your family? Your life is very important. Your wife's life is very important. Your children's life, because they are your future, are very, very important. Number 3 on my list is, are there university in the environment you want to buy? Tertiary institution, secondary institution, or primary. It's possible a government primary school can be very, very close there. Either a secondary school that is government school or a university that is for the government. It's very important to take note of it, because anywhere that there are university students or polytechnic students, such environments will boom in the space of 2 to 3 years, because we discover that students love living outside the school hostel. So they will prefer renting an hostel that is outside the school. So the rent in that area will be very high. Development in that area will be very high. People will prefer building in such areas. So once building are coming in, population is increasing. Therefore, the land value of such environment also will increase. So the land you are buying, what is the proximity of such land to a university? Number 4 on my list is, are there accessible roads to your land? Can your supplier of sand and granite, can they move their vehicle or convey their vehicle to your land to supply you sand and granite or blocks? If they can't, so therefore such environment will not have development, because how will they construct buildings? How will they have their land built? How will they have their buildings built? So it's very, very important you take note of this. Is that land accessible by vehicles? For your blocks, your cement, your sand to be supplied, it might not be tiled, yes, because we discovered that the first people that get to an environment are those that have a greater return on investment. Nevertheless, such land should be accessible by either your vehicle or the supplier, which is the sand and the cement vehicle. Number 5 on my list is, what is the topography of your environment? Is that place swampy? Is it slopy? And what is the irrigation value? On a high hill, there is tendency that water will not disturb a high hill environment. On a low or valley environment, we observe that when there is water flowing from a high hill topography, it flows down to a low hill topography, which is a valley, and water will be disturbing such environment, as we have it on some part of Lagos. So, can you spend money to do a German floor? So if that place is swampy, don't say because your friends are buying land in this area, you must buy. What is the amount in your own account? Though research makes us to understand that areas that is swampy have a tendency of high return on investment. But swampy areas that are close to companies are the ones that have high return on investment, not swampy areas that are close to forests. So when investing, you have to consider the areas you are investing on. Is it swampy area? Is it topography good for the amount in your account? Don't go and buy a valley because your friend that is a billionaire is buying it. Another thing you have to consider is your age. I love telling people that investment that a child of 22 years, or sorry, a youth of 22 years can do, an elderly man of 50 years must not do it. So if people are investing in a bush, it should be at their tender age of 20 to 40, 50 years. A man of 70 years cannot go and buy a thick forest. I was teaching some times ago in a real estate firm, and when I said this, a man raised up his hand. He said, "Sir, you are telling me the truth. You are just talking to me." He said, "I bought the land about 3 years ago. I couldn't sell that place for a good price because of my age. If I should sell it, I will lose out." He said, so he willed that property for his child because he realized that in the next 10 years, his child will be able to sell that place on a high value. So another thing you have to look at is your age. Are you still young? If you add 10 years to your age, can you have a great return on investment? So people are buying a very far distance that is not close to the road. You too, at the age of 60 years, you are buying it. You might not have a good return. So, but even if you are going to have a good return, you must buy a very high chunk of the land. I'm talking about from 40 to 30, 50 acres of land or 100 acres of land. Not one plot in a thick bush. If you have 50 years and people are buying bush, you shouldn't buy one plot because you are definitely going to get old, or you eat the fruit of your labor in the grave, or your children didn't want to eat it. So the wisdom is your age is very vital. So at the age of, let me give a good example so it can be practical. At the age of 20 to 50 years, don't buy 20 to 50 years, you can buy anywhere. But from 50 years above, don't buy a thick forest. Buy a place that is close to the city. Now, if your money cannot buy a city, then you can go and buy a very high chunk of land. I'm talking about from 10, 20, 50 acres above in a thick forest. So much that if you are going to sell that place back, the return on the investment will definitely compensate with your age. Now, another thing you have to look at is what is the water level of the environment you are buying. Water level is so paramount. How much will it cost you to drill a borehole? You're going to drill a borehole for 10 million naira in an environment that you bought for 1 million naira is not wise. It's just a wasteful investment. So it's important you look at the water level of the environment you are buying before buying any land. Another thing you definitely have to look at again is what is the social or the law of the environment. I said social/law because I want to mix these two together. Now, when you say the law of the environment, government has rules and regulations in every area. Some areas are reserved for residential, while some areas are reserved for commercial. So areas are reserved for commercial. In most cases, government most times puts what we call acquisition on them. So take a survey or pick up the coordinates and chart if the land is free from acquisition. So if the land is free from acquisition, go ahead and buy. Are we here? So no matter how good or how bad such environment is, you're definitely going to have a return on investment after you have charted. Such land might not be taken by a government. The only issue you might have there is Omonile Wahala. So that is why it's always wise to buy from a real estate firm like Opulence City. Now, if I'm on I think I'm on number 9 now or number 10 now on my list. Number 9 on my list is that it's very important to know the real estate firm you are buying from. If they used to do allocation, real estate firm that don't do allocation might eventually not allocate for you. So if they are not be doing allocation and they won't allocate for you, you might eventually lose your land. The last on my list is this: have you bought a land from Opulence City? I am Ishlatoba Emmanuel. Opulence City is a real estate firm that is ready to serve you the best offer you could ever think when it comes to real estate investment. We ensure that we check all these abilities, all this return on investment to give you the value you actually demanded for. Thank you. Stay on this same YouTube page or anywhere you are seeing this to get more about land investment. Thank you.